If you are listening to this tonight, take a slow, gentle breath and imagine a quiet home wrapped in darkness, where the only sound is the soft ticking of a clock and the steady rhythm of your own breathing. Because this story begins in a place that feels safe, familiar, and ordinary. A place where millions of older adults move every single night without fear or hesitation. Yet one night, a 71-year-old man stood up from his bed to urinate. Just as he had done countless times before, and within minutes, his life was gone, not because of an accident anyone expected, not because of violence or illness striking without warning, but because of a silent chain of events that too many seniors do not realize can turn deadly in the dark. And this is not a story meant to frighten you, but one meant to protect you. Because what happened to him can happen to anyone who does not understand what truly occurs inside the aging body when it wakes suddenly at night. And the truth is that nighttime bathroom trips are one of the most underestimated dangers for older adults, even though doctors, emergency responders, and geriatric specialists have been warning about this risk for years. Because when the body has been resting for hours, blood pressure naturally lowers, muscles cool down, joints stiffen. Balance sensors slow, and vision becomes less responsive to darkness. So when a person over 60 rises too quickly, especially in the middle of the night, the heart and brain may not adjust fast enough, leading to dizziness, fainting, loss of balance, sudden collapse, or in some tragic cases, cardiac events triggered by stress on the system. And in the case of the 71-year-old man, investigators later believed that the simple act of standing up too fast caused a sudden drop in blood pressure, known as orthostatic hypotension, which robbed the brain of oxygen just long enough to cause him to lose consciousness, fall, and suffer fatal complications before help could arrive. And what makes this even more heartbreaking is that this kind of death is often misinterpreted as unavoidable or mysterious, when in reality, it is frequently preventable through awareness and small changes that take only moments to practice. Which is why the first thing every older adult must pay attention to when getting up at night is never rushing out of bed. Because the body needs time to wake up just as much as the mind does. And a simple habit of sitting on the edge of the bed for 30 to 60 seconds, gently moving the feet, rolling the shoulders, and allowing the blood to circulate properly, can dramatically reduce the risk of dizziness or collapse. Yet many seniors skip this step because they feel urgency or confidence built from years of independence, not realizing that aging quietly changes the rules. And just as dangerous as standing too quickly is walking in the dark without proper lighting, which is the second critical factor that turns nighttime bathroom trips into life-threatening situations. Because as we age, our eyes require significantly more light to see clearly, depth perception becomes less reliable, and contrast sensitivity weakens, meaning that shadows can look like flat surfaces. Rugs can appear invisible, and small objects on the floor can go unnoticed. So when a senior walks through a dark hallway or bedroom relying on memory alone, the risk of misjudging distance or stepping incorrectly increases sharply, and even a minor stumble can cause the body to tense suddenly, spiking blood pressure or triggering irregular heart rhythms. Which is why soft night lighting along the path to the bathroom is not a luxury but a safety necessity, and it should be gentle, warm, and consistent. Not harsh overhead lights that shock the eyes or force the body to react too quickly, but low-level lights that guide movement calmly and allow the brain to stay oriented. And the third factor that demands serious attention is the urge to urinate itself. Because many older adults experience increased nighttime urination due to prostate changes, diabetes, heart conditions, medications, or bladder sensitivity. And what many do not realize is that a full bladder stimulates the vagus nerve, which can lower heart rate and blood pressure, especially during urination, creating a dangerous condition called micturition syncope, where a person becomes faint or loses consciousness while or immediately after urinating, particularly when standing, and this risk increases dramatically at night when the body is already relaxed and blood pressure is lower. So one of the safest practices for older adults is to sit down while urinating whenever possible, especially during nighttime trips, because sitting stabilizes blood pressure, reduces strain on the heart, and prevents sudden collapse. And although some may resist this advice due to habit or pride, True independence is preserved by prevention, not by ignoring biological reality. And the fourth and often overlooked danger lies in footwear and flooring, because bare feet on cold floors reduce sensory feedback. Slippers without grip slide easily, loose rugs curl or shift, and smooth bathroom tiles become extremely hazardous when wet. So something as simple as wearing non-slip footwear, removing loose rugs, installing grab bars, and keeping floors dry can be the difference between returning safely to bed and never waking up again. And what ties all of these factors together is not weakness, but vulnerability, because aging does not mean losing value or dignity, but it does mean that the margin for error becomes smaller, and the body is less forgiving of sudden movements, poor lighting, and rushed decisions, which is why caregivers, family members, and seniors themselves must stop dismissing nighttime bathroom trips as harmless routines, because they are not. And countless emergency room visits, broken hips, head injuries, and sudden deaths begin with those quiet steps taken in the dark, steps that feel familiar until they are not. And it is important to understand that fear is not the message here. Awareness is, because when seniors learn to slow down, sit before standing, turn on gentle lights, sit while urinating, and make their environment safer, they reclaim control rather than lose it, and they reduce the risk not only of falls, but of hospitalizations that can steal independence far more quickly than age ever could. And if you are listening to this as an older adult, know that taking these precautions is not a sign of decline, but a sign of wisdom earned through years of living. And if you are listening as a caregiver or family member, understand that small changes you help implement today may quietly save a life tomorrow, because the tragedy of the 71-year-old man was not his age, but the silence surrounding the danger he faced. And silence is what allows preventable risks to continue unnoticed, which is why conversations like this matter, and why Elder Echoes exists. To gently remind you that your safety, your life, and your independence are worth protecting in every moment, even the quiet ones, especially the quiet ones, so tonight and every night from now on. Remember to pause before standing, light your path with care, respect your body's signals, and create an environment that supports you rather than challenges you. Because growing older should never mean growing careless with the precious life you have worked so hard to build. And if this message helps even one person return safely to bed tonight, then it has already done something meaningful. And as always, take care of yourself, move with patience, and remember that wisdom whispers before danger strikes, if we are willing to listen.